The movie opens with bright lightning striking the ground. Following the storm, a man wakes up in the middle of the woods, injured and disoriented. He gets flashes of himself panicking right before a car crash. Initially, he thinks he might have dreamt of the crash, but upon spotting the car behind him, it is clear that something terrible has happened. The man doesn't remember how he got there and starts walking to the nearest town. On the way, he comes across a car and tries asking for help. However, the person swerves and carelessly stops on the side of the road. Upon checking, he sees that the driver is dead. Her eyes have turned foggy, as if the cause of the death is a disease. The man immediately gets her phone and calls 911. The operator inquires about his emergency before asking him his name and location. Only then does the guy realize that he doesn't remember a single thing about himself. He doesn't even know if he has a name or a family member. He hangs up the call in confusion and brings his wallet out. His driver's license says he has no name, which confuses him even more. As he contemplates what he should do next, a dead crow falls on the car's roof. Its eye is also hazy, like that of the dead woman. The man ignores it and makes his way towards the nearest town. He finally arrives at a diner, but inside, everyone is dead and their eyes are foggy. He freaks out, assuming the deaths are caused by some contagious virus. He rushes outside just in time to witness another death of a truck driver. He quickly covers his nose and gets a map from the diner before making his way to the address written on his driver's license. A while later, he reaches a house that might belong to him. At first, he knocks on the door, and when no one opens it, he decides to break in. After listening to the voicemail set on his phone, he recognizes his voice and is finally sure that the house belongs to him. He also finds out that his name is Liam. Still confused, Liam cleans up and turns the TV on. The deaths he witnessed earlier are being investigated at the national level. Experts speculate it could be biological warfare or a naturally created deadly virus. Either way, people are advised to stay home. Liam notices a man working nearby in the field and tells him it is not safe outside. The person doesn't make out what he is saying and walks towards him. Suddenly, his eyes turn foggy and he falls dead. Liam is not brave enough to go outside, hence, instead, he writes what he knows about the deaths and stays home. He keeps up with the news and figures out that the deaths are too heavily localized for it to be a virus. In fact, every death that occurred has been near or around him. Then, he hears a crow cawing and goes outside to check. When he gets closer to the bird, it dies the same death that Liam has been witnessing until now. At this instant, a wild theory comes to his mind. He believes that he might be the cause of the deaths, as everyone who died was around him. He doesn't want to test the theory because that means more people would die. At first, Liam contemplates calling the police and telling them everything, but the question remains if they will even believe him. Even if they do, he will probably become the subject of strange experiments. So, Liam decides to take care of the matter on his own. He gathers food and supplies and locks himself in the garage near his house. Later that day, the police come looking for him because his car was found crashed in the woods. Liam runs outside to hide as far away from them as possible. One of the officers almost catches him, but is stopped when birds fall dead in front of her. They run away immediately after realizing the unexplained deaths are occurring again. At night, Liam dreams of the car crash and wakes up to find a woman in his driveway. She hears him in the garage and comes closer. Liam warns her to stay away, but she doesn't listen. A while later, he opens the door, and surprisingly enough, the woman is still alive. She reveals that her name is Jane. She doesn't remember anything else about herself since this morning, when she woke up in a hospital. The staff told her that she was in a car crash, and the car belonged to Liam. Hence, she is here to ask if he knows her. Both of them are as surprised as each other. They remember glimpses of the crash, but do not know what caused it, or why they were together. As they talk, a puppy approaches Liam and doesn't die. This makes him believe that he is not the center of the deaths after all. He doesn't tell Jane about his theory, and the two go to his house together. They try to figure out if they live together, but it seems like Liam lives on his own. Suddenly, he looks at her reflection and remembers her getting inside his car on the day the accident occurred. This gives him an idea, and he quickly opens the map. They find a bridge near the place they crashed and decide to go there to investigate. The following morning, they go to the said place, but neither of them associates any memory with it. Jane reveals that the only thing she remembers from her past is going to the mall with her family as a child. Liam thinks it is a good thing, because this would mean she still has a chance of remembering other incidents. Just then, another memory comes to Jane. One night, she was on the bridge, looking at a blank piece of paper in her hands. She threw it into the water, and Liam was also beside her. The duo doesn't know what to think of it, but they are not ready to give up yet. They go to the crash site to see if it brings more memories. On reaching the place, they find a huge black circle on the ground. As they had expected, seeing the circle makes them remember more glimpses from the night. They know they were standing on the opposite side of the circle facing each other after the accident. Liam also thinks that the radius of the circle is the range of his curse. He tells Jane that the deaths started with him and about how they stopped after he met her. Jane panics and refuses to work with him anymore, afraid for her life. She tries running away as he follows her. They stop when a car pulls over and a woman comes out of it, introducing herself as a cop. She recognizes Liam as the guy whose car they found in the woods. As she keeps him busy, Jane runs away. Just when she is far enough, the cop falls dead. It is clear that Jane acts as an antidote to Liam's curse. Whenever she is around, no one dies, but as soon as she is away from him, the unexplained deaths occur. To prove the theory, Liam brings Jane to a field with a goat and asks her to walk away slowly. Once she is outside the radius, the animal dies, making her believe that Liam is right. Following that, the duo goes to the hospital to get an MRI scan. They believe the results will tell them what is causing the deaths. They stay close to each other throughout the procedure, but in the end, the results say they are normal. At the same time, they hear Liam's name on the news. The police have found the cops and the farmers' dead bodies and related the murders to him. The duo knows that if he is arrested and taken away from her, more people will be killed. Upon realizing the cops are already at the hospital, they quickly run to the elevator. Liam gets inside, but Jane is distracted by the missing person posters on the wall. It makes her recall that the paper she was looking at on the bridge was not blank. It was a missing persons poster with a picture of herself. Back in the present, Liam loses Jane and dreadfully gets ready to witness more death. He tells the people with him to run outside as fast as they can when the elevator door opens. They do as told, and Jane comes to him at the same time. Thankfully, no one is killed in the incident. Following that, they drive to a fenced property and spend the night in the car. Liam again wakes up from the nightmare of the crash. A while later, Jane listens to the news on the radio. The police have found out that she is with Liam too. Her husband Sam is at a report conference, begging her to come back. Jane is shocked because she didn't know she was married. They go to meet him in private and convince him to help them. Initially, the guy just thinks he's getting cucked and doesn't believe the two. But when Liam demonstrates his curse by killing some birds, Sam has no choice but to believe them. The three go to his office where they can hide for a while. There, Liam finds a missing persons poster that Jane was holding in her memory. It has her picture, but the name of a different girl. Sam explains that Jane's real name is Rose, and the girl in the picture is her twin sister, Lily. She went missing a few months ago and never came back. Her disappearance caused Jane to fall into a spiral of depression. She was too obsessed with finding out where Lily went, which caused an argument between her and Sam. This is when she left a few days ago and came back only today. The story fills a huge gap in Jane's memory, making her remember more things. That night, she gave up on looking for her sister and was about to commit the unthinkable on the bridge. Liam found her and saved her life. They were driving somewhere away from the bridge when the accident happened. She tells Liam that he saved her life and thanks him. Later, Sam finds her sleeping on Liam's lap and gets jealous. He calls the police but regrets it instantly. When the cops arrive, they separate Liam and Jane, causing their own deaths and the deaths of the pedestrians nearby. After everyone dies, Sam asks the duo to run away, promising that he will take care of things. By now, Liam has an idea of where they were going after the crash. He thinks they were driving to a secluded cabin that he owns. They stop at a gas station where a news broadcast catches their attention. On the night of the crash, an unexplained cosmic anomaly struck the Earth at the exact spot where they had the accident. The duo believes it might be the cause of the strange things happening to them, but have no way to prove it. In the following scene, they arrive at the cabin that is near a lake. They chat for a long time about their future and everything that has happened until now, even if they convince the authorities that the cosmic anomaly was the cause of the deaths. What then? They will have to be confined and kept together for their entire lives. Liam thinks it is unfair to Jane since she will be his babysitter, but Jane claims that she wouldn't mind living a life like that. Since the cabin is far from the nearest town, Liam can stay away from her without killing anyone. He goes to the lake nearby and gets on a boat. A lot of fish are about to die. At the same time, Jane finds a journal in the fireplace. Inside it are several missing person posters with a detailed note about each person. Jane skims through it and finds her sister's missing poster in the end. Then, there is her real name written on the top of the next page. It is finally revealed that Liam is a serial killer who kidnaps and kills women. He is on the boat getting the same flashback as Jane. He realizes the truth and remembers how he killed Jane's sister and threw her body into the water. He was about to do the same with Jane as well. That night when they were driving to the cabin, Jane noticed he was trying to sedate her. They got into an altercation, which caused the crash. However, both of them got out of the car unharmed. Once they were outside, the cosmic incident occurred and trapped them inside dome-shaped energy. They do not remember what happened afterwards, but the pieces have finally come together. Liam comes outside the lake and vomits at the thought of the horrible things he did when he was his former self. Suddenly, Jane arrives with a gun and asks him to bring her sister back from the lake. She is about to kill him, but cannot get herself to do it. They return to the cabin and find a bunch of men outside. The group thinks they are terrorists and attacks them. Liam runs away a bit further and kills 2 of the thugs. Meanwhile, the last one panics and shoots Jane. He also dies a while later, but Jane is severely hurt in the process. Liam rushes her to the hospital and watches the doctors take her away. He no longer resonates with the serial killer he was and feels disgusted with himself for what he did in the past. In the end, he commits the unthinkable to prevent any other deaths. Whoa.